Hi everybody, it's Stephen Brooke and welcome to Architectural Photography and Composition. There are three elements to this that I discuss often. The elements you need to do well as an architectural photographer. One is technical skills, and I sort of downplayed this because I think learning to use your camera and learning to use the software is a matter of just practicing using it like a instrumentalist is one with his or her instrument. You don't have to stop and think what to do when you're out shooting. You're fluent with your camera skills. These you can learn. Second is willpower, the relentless desire to get it right. And I think most people who do this work have that because it is so exacting that you have to really want to get it right. The third thing is visual intelligence, and for me this has always been the most important, and it's what I've emphasized to my students, whether they're private students or students at the university or students at workshops. And that you need to study the history and techniques of the great masters of the art, not just what they depicted, what they painted, what they engraved, but also why. And I think knowing why they did what they did, the nature of patronage, what happened when things changed from church patronage to burgomaster patronage, how did the work change? What was emphasized that wasn't emphasized before? This is all really important. And so in my book on architectural photography and composition, I have a list of books that I think are really important and artists' monographs that I think you can't spend enough time studying these works to improve your own work. But I have 5 books in particular that I honestly believe that every architectural photographer at whatever level of skill you're at ought to own. The first one I think is Sir Bannister Fletcher's A History of Architecture. This is the most complete book on architectural history and styles that's available. The most current version is the 20th version, and the most current version has the newer contemporary architecture, but you can get an older version. I think it's important to be familiar with the vocabulary of architecture and interiors so that you understand what your client, the architect, is after. When you look at their drawings before you go out to shoot, or you have a discussion with them and they're talking to you about architectural elements, whatever the style is, it's really important that you are fluent in that language. And the more you study, the more fluent you'll be and the better your work will be, because you will know better what to look for when you shoot. And Sir Bannister Fletcher's book is the book on history of architecture. The second one is View Painters of Europe. It's Giuliano Briganti. And what I like about this book is that he includes painters that you don't often see. You know, not just Canaletto and not just Piranesi, but a variety of painters and engravers whose work you should really study. The other thing is he shows locations in the book that you don't often see. We're used to seeing view painters in Rome and in Venice and in Naples, maybe in the Holy Land, but he shows work in Vienna, in Warsaw, in London, in Munich, and I like particularly some of the work that's done in London because the views are across the Thames, and that's a compositionally difficult situation because you have a foreground, you have an expanse of water, and you have the buildings in the background. And how you arrange your photo, what you use to balance your image, where can you get freestanding verticals to balance your image so that it's not just egregiously horizontal. how these painters and engravers handled a place like Delft or a place like London is really illustrative. The second book in that series, or in that vein, is Townscape Painting and Drawing by J.G. Links. This is really informative, and it has 300 years of architectural depiction and streetscapes and a very scholarly text. And it's important to, again, to understand not just what was depicted, but why these elements were depicted, why the architecture was shown a certain way. And there's so much to learn from this book, Townscape Painting. And Links is a very agreeable writer. Now, I think it's of value to have a book on Piranesi because of how much he contributed to the paradigms of composition. And in my book I've parsed a couple of them to show how he used rectangular armatures, but there's more than just the buildings. He has engravings of sculpture, of details, and it's really a textbook in black and white as well. The best one I have is Luigi Focaccia's Piranesi, The Complete Etchings. If you're going to get a book on Piranesi, that's probably the one to get. It has literally everything in there. Now, the last one is Svetlana Alper's The Art of Describing. And I think it's one of the best books on 17th century painting and engraving. Architectural photography owes so much to the Dutch tradition, and her analyses of what was painted and why, I think, is unmatched by any book in the field. I think this book you can read and reread and reread. It's that well written and has so much information that's of value to us in our work. So I have other books and artists that I have in architectural photography and composition. I've listed those. Also movies and television series that I think are beautifully done, where the cinematography is really of value to us. So I hope you'll check it out on StephenBrookePhotography.com. If you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.